Have you heard about the SpongeBob conspiracy theory?
No, I didn't even know SpongeBob had like conspiracy theories.
So SpongeBob still goes, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like
that's one of the shows where it still is like hella long,
and it's like very iconic. So like, how can you not know?
Obviously, everybody knows SpongeBob SquarePants, but there's this conspiracy theory around the show. So this conspiracy theory about SpongeBob is that in the show, so you know how the city is called Bikini Bottom?
Yeah.
So the theory is that back in the day, there's a place called the Bikini Atoll, and in that area is where like the Navy used like nuclear missiles and bombs to like test their like capabilities, like how big and how small they were, if they worked or if it didn't work, you know. And when they conducted these bombs, it was between like 1946 and 1958. And obviously with the bombs comes like huge radiation, obviously like all the fish and all the DNA and all that, the genes and all that, and obviously the water is like all polluted, you know, with radiation. But obviously that's gonna, with the whole radiation, it's gonna like affect the whole environment. It's gonna cause damage to the environment, you know. So with that being said, the theory is that the Bikini Bottom is actually right underneath Bikini Atoll. So Bikini Atoll is a place where it's called, that's a place like where they tested the bombs. Yeah. And the Bikini Bottom, where this is like the setting where SpongeBob the city, like, you know, takes place, which is underneath where they were like doing the bomb sites and all that.
So basically, you would say a bikini. You know how like in the intro it like shows the island? Yes. So that's like Bikini Atoll, basically.
Yeah, essentially, what they're saying is that is Bikini Atoll, and that, you know how what happens when in the show. It
literally goes right under.
It goes under, and then what's under? Bikini Bottom. And so that's why a lot of people are saying that the theory is that place is underneath that place is Bikini Bottom, and that's where like the setting takes place. And that
makes a lot of sense.
Not only does that, but like it makes sense because like, you know, what are the fish doing? They're like wearing pants. They're talking.
They're basically humans, like living an actual life.
Yeah, they're like living like actual like humans. You know what I mean? Like they're talking. They have clothes on. They're driving.
They have jobs and they go to school and everything.
Yeah, so that makes sense. You know, maybe it mutated their DNA, and now they can talk. Now they can walk, and stuff like that. And then, not only that, but like, I don't know if you noticed throughout the shows, if something really bad happens, there's always an explosion. A boom or like an over exaggerated, you know, just if someone falls down and just you hear like a big boom or like it does the atomic, you know, the mushroom. Yeah. Do we know when a big like an atomic bomb, the mushroom symbol comes on and all that? I'm like, it's like symbolism, you know what I mean? What's your favorite character?
My favorite character? Honestly, I don't really have a favorite character, but if anything, it would be probably between like SpongeBob or like Sandy Cheeks. I don't know. Probably one of them were like my favorite. What about you?
Me is Larry the Lobster. Why? He's always hitting the gym, always lifting the weights, and it's funny how like SpongeBob, when he like always meets him, he's always like, "I'm trying to go to the gym too."
Yeah. And then there was that one whole episode when he was like, when SpongeBob was trying to like weightlift and everything.
that one episode when his like his arms were pumped? Yeah. And then they're all pink and they were like they're like huge, and he was like pumping iron. Yeah, that was pretty funny. But it makes sense. Like I said, we talked about. It's below the Bikini Bottom. There's always like throughout the show, there's always like bomb. The mushrooms, the bomb. The fish could be like mutated because of the radiation. That's why they're talking and have clothes. And also, I was gonna say, do you know the secret formula?
No, because like,
bruh, you don't know the secret formula.
Throughout the show, it's never been like revealed the secret formula.
So in my opinion, I agree. So this is what other people are saying, and I also strongly agree. So, are you ready? Okay. So the secret formula is crab meat.
What you mean? All right,
let me explain. So like crabs. So who's the only out of all the shows? Out of the whole show, like there's only one crab.
Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs, right? Yeah. Why isn't there more crabs if it's the ocean? There's a lot of fish. There's SpongeBob. Obviously, there's a sponge. Yeah. But there's no other crabs, right? And then Mr. Krabs is the only one who knows the formula. Second, what is the crust? You know, the crust. That's what it's called, right? The Krusty Krab.
Yeah, the Krusty Krab.
With the burgers and all that. What does it look like from the outside?
A crab cage.
A crab cake. And it makes sense.
But then why don't they like? Why isn't Mr. Krabs one of them?
What do you mean?
Like Mr. Krabs, like
because he's a crab. Maybe he's the one catching them and then making the meat.
Like luring all the crabs to the crazy crab.
Maybe he's luring yeah, maybe, like, you don't know, because he think about it, like, what is, I don't know if you remember, like, one of the shows, like, Plankton finds out what it is, and he's like shocked. He's like, oh, he finds out.
I think, yeah.
You remember? Yeah, one of those episodes, he, like, finds out, and he's, like, looking at crabs, like, oh, my God, like, I can't believe you're doing this. And then I think he found out that it's crab.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of symbolisms. Like, for example, I don't know if you remember, in one of the episodes, it was way back, it was an episode about, like, they were, like, in the Stone Age, and it was Patrick.
And they were, like, cavemen?
Yeah, they were, like, cavemen. It was Patrick and SpongeBob. And then, Patrick, in the show, you can see crabs. There's crabs. And one of them opens up like a rock, like, you know how they hide the crabs underneath, and like a lot of little crabs came out. And he ate one of them, and then Patrick burped, and he's like, oh, that's hella good. And next thing you know, a couple of seconds later, SpongeBob, he like, because there's sand, obviously, like, you know, the sand, he makes a burger, like a Krabby Patty.
That's very interesting.
Like, that's a lot of symbolism, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I strongly agree that is the secret formula is crab.
Damn. I would never, like...
I'm not gonna lie, the first time I heard that, I'm like, there's no way he's doing his crabs. And then I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense now.
Makes a lot of sense.
And the whole, like, radiation thing, the bombs and everything.
Because obviously with the whole radiation, it does mess with your genes and your genetics and all that. But that is pretty much the conspiracy theory around SpongeBob.
And the secret formula.
The secret formula.